Are you happy in your business? Now, I have had my share of emotional ups and downs in my 20 years of being a solo entrepreneur coach. And the patterns I've seen in myself and in my clients is that those downs are usually when I was personally feeling unfulfilled. Sometimes it was because a launch that flopped, and sometimes it was just life and had nothing to do with business. But those ups, oh boy, those are the times when I was feeling my most authentic and completely aligned to my purpose, or when I just felt like I was rocking that work-life balance. I would be thinking I could do this all day long and never feel tired. One of my loves is sharing what works for me and what has been working for my clients to achieve this very feeling, full of passion, happiness, peace, and freedom. So I decided to create a private podcast for coaches. Maybe you just want to develop better communication skills that boosts engagement, leads to better results, and makes you feel like you're actually making a difference in the lives of the people you serve. Then you're invited too. We talk about this and more in the UBU private podcast for coaches. Whether you're a mentor, a parent, or run a client-focused business, coaching skills benefit everyone and anyone who wants to communicate in a way that builds relationships. Fall in love with your life and business again. Click the link in the show notes for your invitation to join us right now. Then come back and enjoy this episode. Welcome to step 1 of the Communicate to Build Relationships Challenge. This week, you're going to be learning the 5 steps to connecting better with the people in your lives, no matter what their personality is. Not only that, but you'll also walk away feeling the full weight of your worth without being afraid that you've hurt someone else's feelings or inadvertently burned a bridge between a relationship that you can't repair. I'm Jen Higgins, certified personality strategist, Enneagram Ninja, and your guide this week to having more meaningful interactions that lead to loyal clients, loyal students, and loyal customers through compassion, trust, and rapport. And as a parent, you get the bonus of raising more emotionally healthy kids when you use these skills at home. This week, you will learn how to understand the what, how, and why people communicate, and the things we do that sometimes accidentally puts a wedge in our relationships. I want to share with you some quotes from stories that I've heard from my clients, members, and guests on my podcast. Let me know if you can relate to any of these. People see me as being standoffish or stuck up. I've been accused of being bossy and controlling, and that really surprised me and was really hurtful. I'm always afraid that I'm stepping on toes or being pushy. I feel like I don't matter. I'm just invisible, and no one wants what I'm offering. I just stopped trying because no matter what I did, it didn't make a difference. I didn't know I was being intimidating. I was just trying to help. I thought we were having fun. And then I found out I really hurt this person. And it's sad because I really did understand her more than my actions suggested. Have you ever been on the receiving end of a misunderstanding like these? Have you ever been on the giving end? Chances are the answer is yes, or you wouldn't be listening to this. And chances are you either have a strained relationship with that person, where one feels like they're doing all the giving and the other is doing all the taking, or you have a disconnected or surface relationship with that person where maybe that relationship isn't necessarily bringing you stress, but it isn't bringing you joy either. Now, I've been coaching people to work with their personalities for over 2 decades now. But I remember in the beginning, I operated on a common sense basis, meaning if it made sense to me and worked for me, then it must be what everyone else should do. Now, I was in my early 20s. I was still a baby. I was fresh out of grad school, starting a corporate position. I sat in a chair in front of a computer working with data and theories. But as I moved up the corporate ladder, I was able to work with managers and teams in the implementation of those data and theories. And I went out into the field to show them how they could work better together to be more efficient and be more productive based on their personalities. But I got a rude awakening. One gentleman point blank looked at me with a condescending smirk and said, "Well, maybe that works for you in your business suit sitting in home office, but out here in the field, that ain't gonna cut it." I was so angry at how close-minded he was. And I was embarrassed by how he made me look stupid and naive. And truthfully, I was afraid what my boss would do when he found out that I had failed my first mission because I couldn't get the other people to open their minds. But what I learned is that data aren't humans and humans aren't data. And my boss already knew that. The truth was, I had failed to open my own mind about the assumptions I make in the world because of what I call my personality paintbrush. So this is a great concept. This is a good analogy that I'm going to be talking about a lot this week. Each of us has a personality paintbrush. We wake up every morning and we start painting our world with it. And however we paint it, that becomes our current reality. Now, I'm not saying you need to put down your brush, not at all. It's our paintbrush, our personality paintbrush, that makes us unique. It's what allows us to make our difference in the world. But we can use it to create something beautiful that attracts others, that compels others to look at our art and be inspired, or we can create something that repels them. And truth be told, there is strategy in both, depending on the context. But since this challenge is about building relationships, I'm going to assume you want to attract instead of repel. So we must start with understanding ourselves and how we see the world. And it's the recognition that we even have a paintbrush and to be intentional with it, but not to get rid of it. Now, I believe that the Enneagram is the best tool for this because it doesn't focus on our behaviors, but the reason behind our behaviors. And it's the only tool that explains our behaviors, the patterns of our behaviors in stress and in health. But if you just don't think you want to fool with another personality tool, don't worry, because you're not going to need to know anything about the Enneagram to participate in this challenge this week. Everything that I'm going to be teaching you is universal and personality independent. And honestly, you might be a little disappointed because the skills I'm teaching you aren't anything new. You're probably already capable of doing it, but the problem is that you're not approaching it the right way. And that is the frustrating thing, right? You know what to do. You're probably already doing it. But because no one has shown you what I'm going to walk you through this week, you aren't seeing the results in your relationships that you expect. So what I want you to do today is, first of all, reserve your spot for the live implementation sessions this week. There will be at least 2 of them, and the links are going to be in your inbox if you've registered for the challenge. You have until midnight tonight to register to get on that first session. And that first one, I'm going to be talking more specifically about the Enneagram. So if that is your jam, or you would like for it to be your jam, then join me on that one. It is first come, first serve, and I do like to keep them small so I can personalize them to the people who are attending. And that group session is usually $40, but during the challenge, I do like to offer them for free. That way, not understanding your Enneagram type isn't holding you back during the challenge if that is something that you're already familiar with. The second one will be a more general Q&A, since by that point you will have already started implementing the tactics that you'll be learning this week, and will probably have questions about your specific situations. So if you're listening to this and you haven't registered for the challenge yet, do that first. The link is in the show notes, and you'll get the links to the free implementation sessions in your inbox. So remember, those sessions are first come, first serve. So again, for this challenge, you do not need to know your Enneagram type. Repeat, you do not need to know your Enneagram type. You will be able to use the mind shifts you'll get each day to start seeing progress in your relationships immediately, regardless of knowing your Enneagram type. Now, for today's task, I want you to reflect a little bit about the fact that you even have a personality paintbrush in your hand. And then I want you to share, and you can do this with words, or you can do it in pictures, or you can do it in GIFs, or GIFs, however you say that. And share with me about how you would paint yourself in a perfect world. What would you be doing? And how would you be feeling? In other words, think about when you are being your true self. How does that make you feel? And what are you doing in your perfect world that is giving you that feeling? Now, you don't have to get all existential in this exercise, although it's perfectly okay to do that. But if that is overwhelming, just think about something simple or even something temporary that is relevant to you right now. And you can share that with words, pictures, or GIFs. Whatever is the easiest way for you to express yourself. I'm just going to ask you to post that in the Facebook group, or you can send it to me in a DM on Instagram or in an email. And all of those links will be in the notes. Now, I'm going to encourage you to participate because not only does it hold you accountable to make progress this week, but it's also going to get you into the drawings for prizes. And me likey prizes. And those prizes are gift cards, coaching, and a complimentary seat in the coveted course, Get Connected. So today, for step 1, I explained to you first that you have a personality paintbrush, and that paintbrush paints your current reality. And tomorrow, for step 2, I'll be going over the 3 things humans do that accidentally frustrates others. Can you believe we do that? But somehow, when we become aware of these things, it magically takes the emotionality out of how we react to them or overreact to them when it happens. Now, before I let you go, let me end by giving you the answer to all the questions that brought you here to accept this challenge. That answer is you. You are the answer, and the answer is already inside of you. And this week, I'll be guiding you on how to unbox it so you can communicate to build relationships. So don't forget to post, email, or DM me your challenge task for step 1, and you can see those links in the show notes. How do you paint yourself in a perfect world? How are you feeling, and what are you doing? I'll see you tomorrow.